really want her to realize was just to worship him. I know what you need. I'm right here. Carnal things, they may come and they may go. You may look for me as what you can get from me, but you shouldn't do that because I know what you need. I know what you worship, what you should worship for. So when Jesus was on his journey, you know, this was a divine journey for him. This was a journey to just let people know that he could be someone's friend. Because in reality, he's our friend. He's our friend. So how can we please God? How do you need me today, God? You know, many people don't say that often. Many people do. Many people don't say that. I find myself not saying it sometimes. And then when I don't say it, I feel God is, as if God is not near me. See, when I begin to just realize that all I have to do is press towards him and ask him what he needs from me, he comes and he tells me exactly what he needs, when he needs, and how he needs it. All I have to do is this. God has all power and all authority in heaven and earth, and even in hell. When we worship Jesus, we are telling him that we trust him. We are telling him that he deserves to be with us at the moment of worship. We are letting him know that our power is inside of him, which he has given to us. We are letting him know that we love him. We worship not for what he has for us. We worship because he is God. Amen. When we worship God because he is God, we begin to realize that a lot of things that we take into consideration for ourselves is not really for ourselves. A lot of times I sing up here, and someone asked me, I think it was Deanna, she asked me, well, why do you sing? Why do you sing? And I had to just ask her that. I didn't give her an answer because at the time I didn't really understand why God was telling her to ask me that. But then I realized when I got this topic, I don't do what I do for myself. I don't do what I do for anybody in here. I do what I do to let God rain down. And let God show up in the spirit. See, when I'm up here singing, what I'm doing is I'm providing God's people with his presence. When I'm up here singing, what I'm doing is I'm allowing God to meet with the people. And I'm just catering to God in that moment. I'm just ushering. I'm just like a waiter at a table. And the table between the bride and the bridegroom is church. Amen. And God just do what he do, what he does. It's not about me. I don't try to draw attention to myself. I just let God have his way. Because that's what he really wants, just to have his way. Amen. So I say, okay, God, this next verse. What is worship? But the hour cometh and now is when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in the Spirit and in truth. Okay. I had to let that sink in. True worshipers. The true worshipers are people that outside of these four walls still worship. That's right. So we have our worship sometimes locked inside the church. We have our worship sometimes locked inside of singing, dancing, doing all these things. We need to take that key and lock that door. Because when we really begin to take our worship outside these doors, we begin to see lives change. Amen. We see just people just honor God in ways that we never thought before. You know, I work in classrooms and I don't talk about God because we can't really do that. But I just find more kids just coming to me saying, but why do you feel the need to just be calm and be silent? When we take our key and I like to go to worship, people see that. And they want to know about God. We don't have to present God to them. They want to know. Well, why are you doing this way? Why are you this way? Because then we give us an opportunity to say, this God is my Father. He's everything. He is inside of me. I breathe, I move, I am him. He is me. Amen. I'm God. The sacrifice that God requires of us is our lifestyle. Romans 1 states, I beseech you, brother, by the mercy of God, that you present your body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. Many times what we need to do, oftentimes, is just let our whole body, our whole everything just worship God. Our mouths, sometimes we say things that aren't really of God, and we wonder, well, why doesn't this person like you? Why doesn't this? In schools, I find that many times many children are boggled down with so much things. It's something they created for themselves. You know, bullying is not a good thing. But many times, the kids who are bullied are the ones who have not really allowed God to just use them in a way that it makes the bully say, why shouldn't bully them come together? Why am I doing this to somebody? Why am I messing with this person? You know, there was a one girl, she came to me. She had been bullied. Her bully actually came to me. And he said, I realized that I shouldn't bully this girl. I was like, why shouldn't you bully her? He said, because it's something around her that every time I go near her, I just feel so bad. But I just need to tell her I'm sorry. He said, well, yes, you do need to tell her you're sorry. That's the Spirit of God. And this young lady, she was just so radiant and so passionate about what she was doing, so passionate about her cause that whenever she was bullied, she didn't get an attitude about it. She didn't fuss or cuss. She just prayed. She just prayed. Every time she prayed, she would pray in front of us. She would just pray. Just drop her head down and pray. And that's the worship that God wants from us. Wow. That's the worship that God needs from us. You know, many times we don't have to look to the left, look to the right, but God is right before us. God is inside of us. You know, when I was working for Disney World, I met some Mormon people who really showed me what worship is. They became so passionate about God and about the things of the Father. They would get so emotional about sharing each other's testimonies that it was just so amazing. And they brought me to realize that when we share things with people, we're sharing how God has used that person. We're sharing how God has used us. It should make someone really rejoice and praise it. It should really make them. But so many times we get so bogged down in our minds, but okay, it's not happening like this to me, so why should I praise for you? Mm-hmm. When we praise for somebody else, God sees that. He honors that. He says, okay, if they can praise for this person, when I give them this, I know they're not going to have no problem praising me.
Amen.
That's why we should worship, continuously worship. When I say continuously worship, we don't have to pray 2 hours, 2 hours every 2 hours. That's right. We can say a little breath prayers. God, I love you. I'll always say, God, you are my God. I'm right here with you, God. Just say little things like that. And God honors that. It really does. And you begin to see little change. And sometimes when we see that little change, we don't recognize that it is God. We miss our faith opportunities so much by just saying, okay, God, I want more. When you truly worship God, you worship Him with the little things and the big things.
Amen.
I was with a friend, and she was just cleaning up her house. She was cleaning up her house, and she began to just look at everything that she had. She said, oh my gosh, thank you. Wow. Thank you, God. I don't have any money in my pocket. I don't have anything new. I just thank God for what I have. And I know when I thank Him for what I have, it opens up the door to so much more deeper. Right.
Amen.
Bless God for that. That really touched my spirit. It touched my soul. And I just say, okay, God, worship is what we need to do. Worship. And the Mormons, they actually taught me when to worship, because I thought that worship, like a lot of children think that worship is just locked inside the church building. But we worship in the morning, we worship in the noonday, we worship at night. We worship all the time because God is with us all the time. And He needs to know that we know that He's here with us. He needs to know.
Amen.
Okay, we say that God knows all, but sometimes we don't know that He's with us until we worship Him. Until we take that step forward and just say, okay, God, right now, I need you. I'm not feeling good right now. I don't want to do this right now, but I need you. Could you please resonate inside of me? Give me a word, give me some encouragement. He does, just like that. It might not be straight to us. He might bring someone else along and tell us something. But He does it all the time.
Yes, Lord.
I sometimes wonder how the Mormons that I knew, how they became good friends down there in Florida, how they could ride bikes all day, how they could go out in the sun and the rain, and just go to people that didn't really appreciate what they were doing. How could they do that? And I said, okay, it's because they worship. It's because they believe God so much that in spite of everything else these people are not doing, I'm going to do what I need to do. Because I know my God's working for me. They became so passionate about God. And it actually broke out for me that their thirst for God, your thirst for God, when you receive that true thirst, it rubs off of you. And it brings them into God. It brings them into really what we need to be, where we need to be. So I bless God for those people.
Amen.
So I'll move to my next one. It says, for the Father search to worship Him. God is the Spirit. God is the Spirit. Our spirit is not locked inside of a place. Our spirit travels. Right. Our spirit moves with us. Our spirit, it unleashes itself on us to see if we're going to allow it to move with us. The Spirit of God, He's not going to do what you don't want Him to do. And many times God doesn't move with us really deep down inside. We really think about it. We don't want Him to do like He really wants. All right. We don't really want Him to do what He can actually do inside of us. We hold on so much. We hold on to financial problem. We keep asking about it. And God said, I want to do it. So just hold on. I didn't tell you how. That's really not even business how. Just trust me. That's how God works. So there's no designated time to worship. As a matter of fact, the perfect time to worship God right now. When we realize that God is all around us and God is never leaving us, we realize that worship is everywhere. Worship is everything. You know, kids, a lot of times we don't like to watch this. I hate to watch this. When you begin to worship God everywhere, you begin to say, okay, God, I'm watching these dishes. You prepare me for something. But you telling me in my Bible, and you got to start reading the Bible too, that I need to be a servant. I need to be a servant. When I become a servant, you're preparing me to rule over many people. All right. So I'm watching these dishes, okay, thank you, God. every day. So I'm like, thank you, God, you prepared me for somebody else. Thank you, God, you prepared me for somebody else. You're looking at things differently when you just worship God all the way, fully and completely worship Him. Worship is not just through singing, not just through dancing. You know, we have a lot of great singers and a lot of great dancers all over the place. And I always thought to myself, well, if that took me away from singing, what else would I have? If my voice is left me one day, what else would I have? If my legs fell off, what else would I have? If I didn't have anything, what else would I have? I would have a heart. He dwells on the inside, and I know for a fact that we are one. I know that. You know, last night, I was at Carol's, my car, I was in my car, and my key had got wet. I couldn't crack my car. So I started having bad key because my key had the chip. And I was just like, okay. I didn't even get upset. I couldn't for some reason, I wanted to so bad. But I couldn't. God said, okay, I got you. Don't even worry about it, because I got you. I don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't even really matter. Just to know that God got me. There's enough that I need. Everybody else is getting all frantic. Whatever.